entire shooting sent shockwaves through the country, with people coming together for a bigger conversation. How can we bridge the gaps in our community to improve race and police relations? We've spoken with members of the ACLU, the NAACP, and right now we're joined by Sheriff Joe Lombardo for a special edition of our Morning Wednesday segment, Morning Cup of Joe. Sheriff, thank you for coming in.
Oh, sure.
How do you think we're doing? We've seen what's happening nationally. How do you think we're doing locally?
Well, I say we're doing great. You don't actually see the protests that are occurring nationally here. I mean, there's protests going on here, and
sure.
let me couch it that way. But they're peaceful protests. And, but you always have to remember the protest in Dallas was peaceful.
Mm-hmm. It was. And
it was a lone actor that acted it out of their rage, their personal rage. That and it was tragic. We lost those officers. But what we're experiencing here is smaller protests. They're disparate across the valley. And we haven't really seen what people are doing across the nation. In other words, civil unrest, mm-hmm. basically. They want their views heard here. They're expressing their views, and the police department has given them the opportunity to do that. So I appreciate that, but we've had a great relationship with our community for several years here with the police department, but that wasn't where we were a few years ago. So we've come a long ways. We did a lot of legwork to develop that relationship, and I believe we're being very successful.
You say you did a lot of legwork. Earlier we spoke with ACLU and NAACP, and they agreed with you. They credited Metro with significant improvement because of the ongoing dialogue, getting out in the community and meeting with people and hearing from all sides. How can you continue to do that, and how can you impart what Metro's doing correctly to others in the nation, other cities that are struggling?
Well, I think the worst thing you could do is get that us versus them mm-hmm. mentality. You got to admit, in order to be successful and affect change and move forward, you got to admit that you're wrong in some aspects. And we were wrong. It was basically, we don't need your help. We can do it without you. And we changed that attitude. But I think it's important for other jurisdictions and other police departments to realize that to be successful, you got to embrace the community and ask for their help versus thinking you can solve it all on your own. So.
We had an individual in, actually the president, NAACP Las Vegas chapter, mm-hmm. and she was saying she's encouraging people in the community to be part of the Citizens Academy, to meet with Metro during your weekly meetings or your gatherings, when you have the neighborhood gatherings, to find out how they can assist as well, to take responsibility for their actions in their neighborhoods. I'm sure you would support that as well.
Oh, absolutely. And if you saw the police chief in Dallas, I can't recall what day it is, but it might have been as early as yesterday. He said for people to get involved, and we're taking applications too here at Metro, and it's easy to stand in the audience and be a spectator and complain, but once you get involved, that's the only way you're going to make a difference for your voice to be heard. And I appreciate what he said, and I echo what he said. Absolutely, for you to make a difference, get involved. It's easy to be the man outside the ring complaining. So.
How do you reach those people that feel they have not had positive experiences with police in their life? How do you reach them? How do we empathize with them and hear that side? Is it that continued community involvement?
Right, and and we changed our training regimen with Metro, mm-hmm. For the young officer that coming on the department and the continuance of the officer on how we police and how the rest of the nation should police. It's no longer that soldier mentality. It's more of the guardian mentality, where we're here to protect you versus our first intent is to put handcuffs on you. So I think it's just the ability to be accessible, approachable, getting officers out of their cars and out on foot, and just that general conversation that quite often you hear when you go in a restaurant. The parent says, hey, if you don't stop acting up, these individuals are going to take you to jail, and that's what they grow up thinking. Mm-hmm. So we have to get everybody to help us in that aspect of we're your friend versus your enemy. So
I know we're short on time, but if I could just ask one more thing. It's a tough time to be a police officer. How can we in the community support police?
Well, that's a real easy answer. Before it would be difficult, but it's real easy. Is just if you have the opportunity to see a police officer, make the effort. Okay. Go up and say, hey, thank you very much for what you do, mm-hmm. because quite often people are standoffish, and the way we train our officers now and what we expect from our officers now is to be approachable, put that smile on your face, and then get out there and shake people's hands.
Okay. Thank you
very
so much, Sheriff.
We do
Sure.
appreciate that. If you have questions for the sheriff that you would like to pose to him, well, you can easily do it on our website, lasvegasnow.com. Just look for the link on the right side of the page. We'll be right back after the break.